This is the Dutch street fair. It's a delightful and delicious mix of frivolity and centuries-old traditions. In the North Holland city of Hoorn and throughout the lowlands of Western Europe, the fun fair is widely celebrated under this name.
The purpose of a kermis is to bring fun. We bring an amusement park on the street, on the sidewalk. If you look around the corner here in the street, they're setting up, I believe, 4 cafes in the street, and they all combine to one big party. And through all the kermis, we do that.
But the Kermis in West-Friesland is especially a place where you meet your friends, where you meet the people of the street, where you meet everybody, have a beer, you have fun, you go in the attractions. You do that in the center of our city.
The residents of Hoorn, now numbering 75,000, have been gathering like this for 560 years. The first festival predated Christopher Columbus's voyages to America. That puts Hoorn's celebration among the elite.
It's one of the top 10 fairs, traveling fairs in Holland. And in our country we have about 1,700 fairs, traveling fairs, and about 700-800 showmen, people who have the attractions. The largest fair in the Netherlands is Tilburg, more than 225 rides.
In other Western European countries, you'll find similar fun fairs being held at various times during the year.
We are the people's favorite choice for fun. As you can see, we are putting our fairs usually downtown, in small streets and narrow spaces, with all sorts of typical problems that come with it.
Hoorn is a very special place because of the setting. It's through the town.
We are special because we are the only one that's UNESCO nominated. And it's because we are, the charm of the Kermis Hoorn is special.
Tall rides at one end of the Kermis overlook the lake that formerly was part of the Zuiderzee. At the opposite end of the festival layout, attractions surround the statue of the founder of the former Dutch East India Trading Company. His company commissioned Henry Hudson to discover new routes to the Indies. Instead, the English adventurer ended up in America, sailing his ship up a body of water that we know today as New York's Hudson River. Hoorn's maritime past and its traditional Dutch architecture are proudly preserved. Here, the historic buildings and side streets blend almost seamlessly with modern-day Kermis interlopers. Perhaps the most significant living landmarks in Hoorn's historic district are the stately trees that border what used to be canals.
But everywhere in Holland, streets there used to be canals, because in former days we used to travel by boats everywhere. We get rid of the canals because the cars came.
Around 500,000 people flock to the Hoorn Fun Fair each August.
We, as City of Hoorn, organize the Kermis. That's what we do. The people of the Kermis who have the attractions, we invite them at the end of the year. At the end of this year we will do that for next year. If they want to be on our Kermis. And we have only limited places for the people who can stand there.
There's typically 400 applications for 73 spaces, so we have to disappoint many ride owners. The highest bid does not guarantee a lot. We have and maintain high standards and believe that the ride or stall should look good, should meet all and any requirements, safety, etc., and the fair should be an attractive mix of rides, food stalls, games, and other forms of entertainment. But safety comes first.
In a nearby area on what was once a cattle market, the city has brought back a cluster of traveling antique rides.
In my old days, in my young days, 40, 50 years ago, we went to the Kermis, but then there were the attractions were not as big and mechanic and noisy but in our time we thought it was very exciting attractions. And here on the Northern Kettermark we have bring back 6 or 7 old nostalgic attractions from old days for people like me. So we know how it was in the old days and how we had fun with our girls. And people are having fun, and the people who live there, they accept that 1 week in a year, 10 days in a year, there's a little bit of noise.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's showtime! Copacabana!
The city needs the showman and the showman needs the city. Without showman, no fair, and without city, also no fair.
We're involved in the entire organization of the fair. Our revenues consist of the lots we rent, which are, on average, and depending on the bids, between 450 and 500,000 euros. After expenses, our net profit is around 100,000 euros. Everybody makes money, or at least have the decent opportunity to do so.
Prior to the arrival of Kermis trucks and trailers, Fatina van Kaar's staff will have mapped and marked the precise boundaries for each attraction.
Every single meter is used. Everywhere is used.
City and contract workers also remove any obstacle, whether it be a tree, light post, or sign that gets in the way of the rides and stalls. As a part of its service package, the City of Hoorn also provides electrical power and water to each attraction. A new grid of underground cables has been installed specifically for this street fair. The national government provides teachers and specially equipped classrooms on wheels so that the children of traveling Kermis families can continue their education. The City of Hoorn accommodates these mobile classrooms within a special trailer park. Ride and game operators travel over the Netherlands' well-developed highway system to different destinations each week. The relatively flat terrain, after all, much of Holland is at or below sea level, and the nation's compact size make the task of piloting the ride-burdened rigs somewhat easier. It's when the drivers of these attractions converge on Hoorn's historic district that their maneuvering skills are put to the test. The task ahead is the most demanding and deadline-oriented, particularly for ride crews.
Most of it is setting it up in tight places. That's the real challenge. Getting the wheel in the right place. It's always, the spaces are sometimes too small, or when sometimes you're building up, you have enough space. It's always different.
What's more, the 4-day setup of 80 attractions unfolds entirely in public view.
Nee, maar die gaat er wel in. Videographers and photographers from all parts of the Netherlands flock to Hoorn and other town centers to capture the setup and operations of rides. For me, seeing their works on YouTube in late 2015 drew me like a magnet to this picturesque Holland city. This video is a tribute to the visual artist, including a native of Hoorn who assisted me throughout the process. Dressing up an attraction for maximum curb appeal is essential for independent owners. Each competes with his or her neighbors for the discretionary euro. That competition begins on the opening Saturday and continues for the next 9 days. You can always count on music to bring out the crowds, and this year's kickoff event features a homegrown trio with a European-wide following. Music also is a key component of another observance that, many years ago, gave the fun fair its name, the Sunday morning Kermis Mass.
I make the mass in this auto scooter very much time. Origin is Catholic.
Kermis, that is formerly kerkmisse. We call in Holland the church a kerk. And when in the Middle Ages a new church was built, people combined and we call it a kerkmisse. And in many years it became kermis. So it is ook a tradition that on many traveling fairs, a miss, a kermis miss will be held.
I don't staying behind the altar. I am staying for the altar, in front of. And I make the bridge with the text to the life of people and for myself. The church zonder weer, without humor, not church.
Heel bijzonder de kermis in Hoorn en alle mensen die ervan genieten. En alle mensen die er vreugde aan genieten. En vooral die we met elkaar delen. Zegenen de Vader, de Zoon en de Heilige Geest. Amen. En nou is het genoeg. Heb je allemaal wat gekregen? Allee, kijk.
By the way, you got holy water on my camera this morning, and I am blessed.
And after the ceremony, the people go out the church and fest.
They celebrate.
Celebrate. Sorry, a party.
There's also a tradition. When there is a miss at the fair, people go at the end to the poffertjeskraam to drink a cup of coffee or tea of a light or perhaps a portion poffertjes. So it like poffertjes is also a tradition of the fair. Small pancakes who only can make a showman. The owner of this booth is Tinus Beekveld, an old family of poffertjeskramen, and he is, when I'm think the 7th or 8th generation who has these houses.
Music and effects, loud, blazing, and sometimes overwhelming, also lure fun seekers to a dazzling selection of rides and attractions.
Light at evening, it must be colorful. Black lights, green lights, red lights, yellow lights. It makes the kermis happy.
The introduction of LED lights, of course, especially by evening, in darkness, makes the fun fairs much more a fairy tale. It's really fantastic to have all the different colors, all the patterns that it can create.
A mammoth fireworks display on the lakefront is equally compelling. But you have to give credit to computer technology for boosting fairgoers to new heights.
Now we have the boosters of 50, 60, 70 meters high. When I was a child, that was not possible because of the technology was not there.
Spectacular rides made in Europe. A tower of 90 meters high was impossible when there was no computer. The computer looks to it, is it possible to construct it? Yes, we make it. And that's the great evolution in the world of the showmans.
To many fun seekers, a fair just isn't a fair without this ride.
There's always a Ferris wheel. Always.
And like many others of recent vintage, this ride also is computer controlled.
My name is Cookie Kroon. I'm the wife of Jan Lambering, and we are manufacturers of the Lambering wheels. But besides to be manufacturers, we're also showmen, carnival people. We travel ourselves. We did that for a long time already.
I'm Sebastian Lembring. I'm the son of Jan Lembring, who's building the wheels, and I rent it or put it on fairs in Holland. I have normally 5 to 6 people, and it takes me, if I can, do it in one day if I have to do, but normally I do 1.5 day. And we can do it 6 people in one gondola, and when it's full we can do 144. I'm now 20 years old, and I always have been with the wheel, always. Never done anything else. If you ask me to build up a Dutch car, I don't know how.
But for us a ferry with wheel is like, well, not breathing, that's too much I think, but it's our living, it's our heart.
One of Koki Kroon's nephews and his partner operate another old fan favorite in the nostalgic ride section.
This machine is from 1934, but it was imported from England to the Netherlands.
My parents bought it in 1949.
Okay, 94. 94.
When did you start in the carnival? How old were you?
From baby, little boy, baby, also with my parents, my whole life.
A long tradition. And there are many showman's families for the 6th, 7th or sometimes 9th generation who visit fairs with their rides. In Western Europe there is not one great firm, no, all small firms.
So the rides are independently owned, the rides and the games?
Independently. Each family has their own rides. An old tradition tells me if your father has a thrilling ride, take a thrilling ride. If your father has a gambling house, take a gambling house.
In the last decade, the games that you let's call it, you have to do something. You can influence the results. They are becoming more important. For example, the camel race.
The purpose is to throw a ball in colored holes. So your camel is going to walk forward, and you're going to compete against each other who's first on the other side, and that one wins.
The fun fair owner can't influence that. You really have a chance of winning.
The Brunselaar family, similar to other Kermis operators, sets up its games at approximately 30 Dutch fun fairs each year.
If you get to a game here in Holland, the people are always there, the wife or the husband or one of the children. Always get the same people every year. People know me in Hoorn. If they see me walk, they say, hey, you're from the camel race. I think that's very important.
The opportunity to take home a prize is everywhere. Occasionally, even the family pet is a winner. Kermis Hoorn comes to a close on the second Monday with an event that produces one of its largest crowds. It's called Loppendag, with lop meaning cloth or the selling of clothing articles, and dag meaning day. Thousands squeeze into the main square where all rides have been taken down overnight to make room for the final rambunctious concert event.
Loppendag has always been, through the ages, a huge market, and there has always been a lot of drinking going on that day.
That's tradition. But in Holland we have also two numbers of beer, alcohol 0 and alcohol 16%. And during the fair it is here alcohol 0.
Ja, ik vind zelf dat
The setting is unique. It makes the Kermis one of a kind. The atmosphere is great.
But will the Kermis retain its popularity among current and future generations?
In the past, circuses and fairs were usually the annual events, often the sole big event that year. People save money to be able to go there. Today, we have all and any weekends, if not almost daily, an event to choose from.
Yeah, events are getting really big in Holland, really big. Some events just for one day they come 80,000 visitors. I think that's where they save the money for the festivals. Not like back in the days where it was just the fairs.
The festivals, pretpark.
Festivals, theme parks, all sorts of new activities result in less visitors, thus revenues, for fairs.
They're keeping the people away from the fun fairs. So fun fairs are having tough times because of the competition. People always want to be entertained. That's a need that we have inside of us. We need that. At the same time, many fun fair owners will always say, we can't do anything else. This is what we do. So for many fun fair owners, it is not an option to do anything else than bringing the fun fair.
And will the operators of these attractions continue to prosper under long-standing city sponsorship of the Kermis?
Oh, we've been here before, but not at this place. We were in the center of the city.
They told me this is a good spot. They told me, I never find out.
But you must see it from all the days, from 9 days. So it's at the end we know from was it a good place or not.
It is important that we remain to be downtown. We want it, we need it. We do not want to move to a lot outside the city centers. That is a challenge, so we need to stay in contact with cities and politicians.
Natuurlijk ook genomineerd zijn voor het immaterieel erf.
We are officially listed on the prestigious Dutch Heritage List and nominated for the International UNESCO Heritage List. We are bound to enable, secure, and maintain the Kermis in the current setting.
To reinforce its commitment to the Kermis, Hoorn's municipal government has unveiled a series of mostly out-of-sight improvements. These provide better access to the necessary utilities and, at the same time, enhance Hoorn's reputation as a green community.
Meer dan 50.000.
As a result, most of the cables are hidden. The city also banned all and any power generators. As a consequence, we reduced the exhaust emissions, noise, and movements, and created even more space.
And we invest in facilities. That's why we do that, is to make it sustainable for the future, that this Kermis can be still there in 10, 20 or 30 years as well. And that's because the people of Hoorn and the people of West Friesland want to meet each other on the Kermis Hoorn.
The people like the Kermis. The people, they always go to the fair and they always will make the intention to have a ride to see Hoorn from height in the big view. Only 1 week a year that possible is.
Reporting from the historic district of Hoorn in the Netherlands, I'm Lane Talburt.